do this now?
Sure.
Okay. I'm worried that, you know, we're catching up, but, you know, certainly Kim, still a relatively new mom, and you have a long drive, and we need to be able to get these people out the door much earlier. And I mean, like 9:30, 10 o'clock. So we need to be able to move things along.
Should watch
Somehow.
Betsy shaking her head.
I don't.
I have no traffic.
Okay, you don't care, but I know that
No, I know
for
that
Kim,
Kim
it's a
does.
big deal.
And what
So if we
actually
can get her out,
is kind
that's
of
better.
normal, I think, once we get rid of the backlog, is,
Yeah,
you
it's the
know,
backlog
a
that's killing us.
10:30 or 11 o'clock
But in the
departure.
meantime, can we schedule things that we need her early?
Okay.
Because,
Okay.
you know, and you know, I
It is
mean,
unfair.
you know,
Okay.
otherwise she doesn't need to work for us. She'll quit and go get some other work,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
And
I
I
don't
don't
think
want to
that's
lose her.
gonna
I think
happen.
she's really good. And, you know, I'll put that on the record.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So that's all I want to say about that.
I mean, I'm anticipating as we catch up that there's,
Things are gonna get smoother.
yeah, and plus as I kind of start getting it a little more, that,
Yeah.
you know, it'll,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
I
think
hear
this
you
is a
loud and
permanent
clear.
situation.
It sure better not be.
I'm not getting a cot, trust me.
Could I just,
I'm not getting a cot for here, trust me.
could I also bring something up? The last week's meeting, I don't know if people realized, but whoever the crowd was that was upstairs in the selectman's office tore the place apart.
Not the
Yeah.
selectman's office, but
You mean
The
Planner's
planning
office.
office.
right.
They tore the place apart. They apparently they broke a chair, right?
Wow.
Yeah, one of the secretarial administrative chairs was broken.
They sat on
So
people's
no,
desks.
World?
They left stuff like, you know, bottles of water and waste paper baskets, and you know, it was just apparently a real mess. And I'm wondering if we should perhaps, because it was very upsetting to the people upstairs. Should we as the planning board do something to say, look, we didn't mean that to happen, we apologize? How should we do that? Should a couple of us go and talk to somebody from there, like sit down and talk to Ann and tell Ann it wasn't intentional? Should we send them a vote?
She's got to know it wasn't intentional. We were completely unaware. I mean, it was a rowdy crowd, I guess, and they were badly behaved.
We didn't know, it was
We didn't know
unintentional.
that. I mean, it's like,
But still.
I mean, maybe one of the things is that during the meetings, if you can see a bunch of people in the back,
Yeah.
say, if there's any damage there, you know, just warn them that they
Yeah.
need to behave. They're in a public space and that it's not to be treated like a private.
When we had meetings up there, it didn't seem as crowded. I mean, are there additional
We
file
didn't
cabinets
have the
now?
chairs set up in the front.
Right,
We used to
right,
have.
but there were, but before there were like, there was room for like 2 or 3
There
rows
still
of
is,
chairs.
there's still room.
Mhm.
If you go to a Concom
see, I-
meeting, there's those rows of chairs are still there.
Yeah, there was a Concom meeting there last night, but it wasn't as jammed as the planning board meeting
But
last
tonight,
week.
look who we
Well,
had
tonight was an extra meeting, remember this was gonna be the short meeting.
Right, but what happened is
It is a short meeting.
people stayed outside, and then only the people that were really that were
Right.
before the board were in here. So I
Right.
think that made a huge difference.
But also, I've been in this room where there are many more chairs set up than this. This is sparse.
You know,
compared to some of the
I'm
people.
quite comfortable in this room.
No.
I'm comfortable downstairs, but I never get cold, so.
Yeah,
I just don't like
Normal
the,
setup.
right, but I've been here when they've had extra
Yeah,
large meetings.
But they also usually have chairs.
Yeah, but they'll also do a third row.
Yeah,
well, we're talking about two different things.
Right.
We're talking about
so.
about
agree.
which room is best. We've
Yeah.
shifted off
No,
whether
I-
we should
I think
discuss
we-
anything
I
with
think
them.
An apology for how it was left was appropriate.
But how should we do that? That's my
Well, I
question.
think you should go up there and bring the ball here.
Sackcloth and ashes? or-
Absolutely.
No,
No, I mean, it's just, it's almost,
Yeah, I mean, it's appropriate.
I don't think it was our fault. so I hate to be there saying, wow.
No, but we're
so
sorry that it happened.
But I am sorry that it happened to them, and I'm
Yes.
sorry that the
Well,
people
and we didn't
in
realize
the town
it.
are that rude.
Maybe rather than a gesture where we come and tug our forelocks, maybe we send them something, we send them a bouquet of flowers or something and say, we're, I don't know, I'm just
Fruit
thinking.
basket,
A fruit basket.
edible
Um,
fruit.
Pear liqueur?
I don't-
Hey, I know somebody who makes a wicked pear liqueur.
Yeah,
Hey, I
okay.
like that idea.
Something, just a gesture. I don't know
I think that
it
would be
needs to
nice.
be a-
That would be
I don't think it
nice,
needs to
yeah,
be
yeah.
oh my God, it was horrible, but maybe just something.
Pear liqueur or something. All right, but then on to the future. I mean, I like that room, and I don't like you having to run back and forth, and I think it is the land office, and I think it can be better set up. But I also think when we have an overflow crowd, it might be a good idea that
Well-
we skip across the hall if there's nothing going on
Yeah,
there.
I agree with that. Some
just
people
take it
like
out and
this
go.
room, some people like, I don't, does anybody like the basement the
The
best?
lighting's bad,
No.
and the sound is bad.
I mean, it
You?
holds,
You
No.
only
it
have-
holds a lot of
Wait a
people.
minute, who likes the basement best?
I don't think you can.
It's only good for big crowds. That's the only reason
Right,
to have it.
because it doesn't get hot.
Okay, so, but
And it holds
as a
them.
general rule, it's not the first choice.
Correct.
So,
To my mind, this would be the first choice, and the basement would be the second choice.
I don't like sending Betsy up and down the elevator.
I'm okay.
Yeah,
Do you like
Well,
it down here?
I mean, but that's not gonna happen that much as you get, again, we get past some of our backlog, and get more comfortable with what
Right,
you're doing.
right,
So, I mean, that's not gonna
right.
be.
I mean, my
permanent.
understanding of the auditorium is that the acoustics are awful.
terrible,
They are.
Right.
just
So
atrocious.
that's,
No one could hear
unless
us.
it's a huge crowd, which, I don't know.
Well,
how
once in a
common
blue moon,
that
if we're anticipating a big mob, we can meet downstairs.
Right,
Mhm.
exactly.
But
Yeah, 'cause we
I'm
used to
talking
do that
about
with-
general rule.
To
which
my
is-
mind, this is a more professional hearing room than a working office. I mean, just in my mind.
I mean, I had a discussion with Ann, when the board indicated that they wanted to move from the basement up there. I'd had a discussion with Ann, and Ann had said, well, really, it's very difficult with, crowds that big, or, a number of people, and so, then what happened was, last week, I came downstairs with the cart, and we had talked about, the fact that we had talked about being upstairs, and she had expressed to me concerns about, impact on staff area.
Well, her email said that she told you couldn't do it.
Well,
Couldn't-
that was
we couldn't meet
after the
upstairs.
fact.
Yeah.
And that's not the discussion we're having right now.
And
No? Okay.
so I don't know who makes that decision, about where people get scheduled.
I think the boards themselves make that decision.
Not that I'm told.
By
But
whom?
I don't, well, Ann said to me that it's not the board's call, but I don't understand who does make
It
that
sure it is,
call.
we're an elected board. If the selectmen
Well, I
wanted to
can-
meet.
I can clarify.
Wanted to meet, they could meet anywhere they chose. We're not like an appointed board, it's a slightly different.
Right. But my
creature.
concern is, and I expressed it to her, is that, there are people who meet in that room, the board, the historical commission, the conservation commission.
We
It
do.
depends on,
We've met there about at least 3 or 4 times in the last year, 10,
Yeah.
12, 14 months.
but I think it depends on the volume of people. And I mean, I was there last night when the conservation commission was meeting, and there was maybe 8 or 10 people there. That was it. Versus,
Sort of like us tonight.
Mhm.
well, as the waves came in.
So the waves, I don't think you can do the waves upstairs because you can't see
Sure.
the way you can.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
but
meet
actually
in
you
the bridge there.
Well,
One of us would be
No,
more
but-
than
but they
willing to
can't
hop up
look
and go
down.
get the next group. I can
Right,
tell you
right.
right now, I would act as page. I would get up and get the next
Well,
group.
I'm telling you, that's fine and all that. That's a workspace. It can be certainly an intimate
Yes.
board, an intimate meeting space as
Yeah.
well.
It's really
Right.
But
tough
it's
for a
not a
lot of
hearing
people.
space. It just
You're
isn't.
I don't
you're
think it's
saying because
ideal.
of the size difference. That
The
this is a larger
size, the
space.
size, and also even the
layout.
decor, the layout.
Well-
It's an uncomfortable space.
For me, it's because it's not a meeting room, it's a workspace with a meeting
Yeah.
room at the end, so it has two entirely different functions. But when it's used for a large hearing, you're using both functions for one function. And it doesn't work that well, and it's an invasion of
Yeah.
privacy
Exactly.
for the people that sit there, day after day. So I don't think it's ideal.
Yeah, I
I
hadn't
mean-
thought about the dual use in the space.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame
Yeah.
if
It just doesn't work.
you adjust your chair and it's exactly right for you, and then you come in the next day and it's.
Well, it's more
But
than
no, they're
that.
not gonna be sitting on the office
I
furniture.
was
But
saying
they
the-
did.
No, but that's
Hey,
because
guys,
the rank of chairs wasn't set up in the
That's the whole
front.
point. The room wasn't prepared, so they were
Right.
actually pulling
But-
chairs from inappropriate places. I think that's the thing.
Exactly. No, it wouldn't be a replica of what happened last week. What you go up and see is a setup sort of like this one, where you have a couple of rows of chairs in front of
It
it.
isn't anywhere near enough space.
Okay, you know
I'm
what?
sorry.
Um,
And who's gonna set those chairs up?
I'm looking at that time, and we're holding a lot of people up.
We are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
these guys.
So,
Oh, but he stays up all
I
night
just love to
anyway.
listen to you.
and I
Well, we could
understand
adjourn this
and
meeting.
appreciate the principle
Couldn't we
that
adjourn
we're
this
an
meeting
elected
and let him
board,
go?
Yeah.
and we've got,
I wanted to bring it up.
authority, rights,
I think we're in
over
agreement
staff.
we ought to-
I
No
just
problem
think
with that.
we get to
But-
decide where we want to be.
Well, I'd like us to decide to meet in this room.
I know you.
Okay, why don't we
said that
adjourn
a
and then
couple
we
of
can
times.
keep
Let's
going.
adjourn, and then we can fight till.
We'll
What is this
think about it.
endorsement of various
We'll think about it.
decisions?
Oh, God
I
bless
just
you.
need to get him back to endorse a couple of them.
Back where?
I guess upstairs when we're finalized
Okay.
on a couple.
All
You
right,
can sign
I
for it.
motion that we adjourn our meeting.
I second that
Yes,
motion.
yes. There you go.
All in favor?
Aye.
Favor.
I'm joking,
The natives are
this whole night,
getting
hubby.
each.
This will be a short meeting, I'll be home by 10.
I was answering a question before I knew it. It was all over.
Mutiny.